Well, that's what this team does. They are resilient. They bounce back. One night after being shut out for just the 5th time all year, they come back and do the shutting out. Their 12th of the year. Kurt Casale in for Buster Posey, catches his 7th. All of the runs scored with 2 outs today. And you might say they are the kings of baseball. It is Toyota Giants post-game live. Come in studio. We have product placement for you here. The Cheesesteak Shop. They're all heroes today. They brought us a lot of great sandwiches we're going to mow on. They are the kings of baseball, and I got my king of Philly right here. I wonder what they think of Gabe Kapler in Philadelphia, by the way, right now. So come in studio. We're going to talk to Wilmer Flores coming up in a minute. You're going to do most of the asking of the questions because I'm going to be mowing here, Shawn. Greg Papa, Shawn Estes. You may want to turn your mic on. That may be a way to start the show. Let's see, 3, 2, 1.
And it's over on this side.
There he goes. You were at the ballpark today. Is that why I see a nice glow about you? How was it at the ballpark today, Shawn?
Beautiful out there. Ton of energy out there today. They showed up, and you could feel it. After last night's dud, where the crowd really couldn't ever get into the game. They got into the game early. They got their guy back, and Brandon Crawford, who got the big hit early in this game that set the tone.
And the guy that got on base ahead of Brandon Crawford is Wilmer Flores, one of our friends who's going to join us on Toyota Giants post-game live. Hey, Wilmer, Greg Pop, and Shawn Estes in studio. So you drew the walk against David Price to get it going into first, but I want to go to your at-bat in the second because it looked like Crawl was looking to take David Price the other way, and then you come up and it's an 0-2 changeup, and you shoot him to right center. Was your mindset after what you saw Crawl do take David Price the other way, Wilmer?
Yeah, our plan today was try to get David up. He's always keeping the ball down, and anything up, we're just gonna go. 0-2, he made a good pitch, but I think I put it in play and put it in the gap.
Yeah, Wilmer, that pitch wasn't up. That's just a good piece of hit right there. I think that's exactly where David Price wanted that changeup, is down and away. Maybe he caught a little bit too much plate, but he did a great job, great approach there with 2 strikes. Great swing in the bat. I got a question for you, though, as far as just this team in general. You get shut out by Walker Buehler last night. Offense couldn't really get it going. You have to sleep fast. You don't have much time to think about it. How is this team so good at putting those type of games behind them and then coming out the next day, and then you jump on the Dodgers early in this game and set the tone?
Yeah, definitely. It's part of baseball. Facing Buehler, you're not going to see many mistakes. He's got a good stuff. He made a couple mistakes, and we missed him. That's how you got to approach good pitchers, and sometimes you just got to tip your cap. We got some rest last night, and we came out today trying to get good pitches. We got some walks, and we got Craw back, and he put it in play and helped us win.
Yeah, I was going to ask you that. What did it mean to get Craw back and to join you on the left side of the infield today, Wilmer?
Yeah, it's definitely a good feeling, having Craw there. Guy that has been around a lot, and he helps you a lot. And now he's hitting the ball everywhere, so it's amazing.
And who knows, you may get Brandon Belt back soon, Tommy Listella, Evan Longoria. You may get a whole new infield, so you're going to have to mix and match where you play. It's incredible. You may have all your infielders back by the middle of next week or towards the end of next week.
Yeah, definitely. It's gonna make us better.
Wilmer, thank you so much for your time. You're always
Thanks,
a
Wilmer.
friend.
Great game.
Toyota Giants post-game live. Good guy, Wilmer Flores. So all the base hits came with 2 outs today that produced runs, Shawn. The 2 out hitting, 2 strike hitting, but today it was 2 out hitting that can be great. So let's go through it. It is the bottom of the first. David Price, Wilmer draws a walk right away. Mike Yastrzemski draws a walk to follow it up. David Price, who just was a little bit wobbly. Another walk to Donovan Solano with 2 outs, and that sets it up for Brandon Crawford. It looked like he was looking away on that first pitch and got a fastball away and just kind of served it right by Justin Turner.
Right guy up, right situation with 2 outs this year. 60th RBI. He's hitting .358 with runners in scoring position and .346 with runners in scoring position in 2 outs is what this situation is. So he smells that RBI. Did a great job with the opposite field approach. Looked like he was going to go the other way, the hole at bat, gets a pitch in, inside outs it, and finds some space out there in left
here's
field.
Wilmer in the bottom of the second. We just talked about it, an 0-2 change up there, and he again, let's go opposite field, 2 out hitting, Same approach that Craw had to bring in another run, Shawn, to make it 3-0.
It's a great swing of the bat because David Price will look at that pitch and he's going to tell you that's exactly where I want him to throw the pitch. Maybe a little bit lower, but to be able to go out there and elevate a pitch in the gap and hit it as well as Wilmer Flores did in that situation, you really have to tip your cap to the hitter because it really is a good piece of hitting right there. And we saw last night with the Dodgers, a lot of their damage came with 2 strikes. Well, today, the Giants did all their damage with 2 outs. So it just goes to show you that these lineups, they're very well prepared, and if you don't execute against them, they're going to make you pay.
You had 2 guys there that can smell an RBI, and I can smell the cheesesteaks. I am really being distracted. Can you smell this beautiful?
I can. I'm starving, so I'm about ready to dig in.
Why don't you take us through the 4th inning and the Giants take a 4-0 lead, because I got to take a bite of this. John Miller made a good point in this part of the game. Thairo Estrada hit a ground ball to Chris Taylor, but Thairo Estrada's speed here forces the air by Chris Taylor. He runs hard, and that's what made the throwaway there to get on base. And then Johnny Cueto chops down a bunt. Don't you love that?
He's so entertaining on the mound, but he might even be more entertaining at the plate, just based on what he does. And he stole a base in his last start. And then the big hit by Slater right there with 2 outs to score Estrada. Another 2-out hit, does a nice job of going down and digging out a changeup. But just, credit to the Giants' approach today. They were going to take the changeup and the fastball away, Price's bread and butter, and they were going to hit it the other way. Because if you go out there and you try to pull that pitch, you do too much with it, you're going to hit a ground ball to the left side of the field. So great job getting Flores going against lefties. Good job Slater against lefties, because this team needs to get it going against left-handed pitching, and we saw some great at-bats today.
How about one guy, Lamont Wade Jr., against left-handed pitching?
Hasn't been that good.
Well, he was 0 for 31 coming into the at-bat, but in the 7th inning, the Giants will get a run here as Donovan Solano will single to center field, and that'll set it up. And Lamont Wade Jr., who was 0 for 31, able to drive in a big run there and open up the lead to 5-0 for the Giants. So terrific work all the way around today by the Giants. We got to single out the work of one Johnny Cueto. Our Kelly Moore painting the corner today as Johnny Cueto goes 5 2/3, gives up 4 hits and a couple of walks and 5 strikeouts. David Price, his counterpart, went 4 1/3. He winds up giving up 4 hits today, 4 runs, just 3 were earned. I don't know what was more entertaining, Johnny Cueto shimmying and shaking as a pitcher or Johnny Cueto in the batter's box, because we got the full Cueto experience today.
We sure did. He was there to entertain this day game crowd, try to win a series. He started early in the game. I thought his fastball was on point today. He threw about the same amount of fastballs as he normally does percentage-wise, but just the execution, the corner pitching, the fact that he mixed the changeup and the slider in. He's always going to do the shimmy and shake. I think I actually saw a different shimmy today against Justin Turner that I haven't seen all year long.
Yep.
It got him out in front, got the out with it, got a couple key double plays. He got 10 outs with his fastball. At bats that ended with the fastball, he got 10 outs of the 17 outs that he had today. So high percentage of outs with the fastball. Just goes to show you how well.
And then he showed off his wheels.
And then he shows off his wheels. He's faster than he looks.
You know why he runs so fast? He eats a lot of cheesesteak shop Philly cheesesteaks.
Is that what does
That's
it? Gives
exactly
him an
what it.
extra
Wait till you
step?
see how much quicker I am after I eat this big.
Are you quick off the set?
The king of Philly, yes. Look at his exit velocity. I'm going to the one down to
He can scoot. I mean, he doesn't look like he can run, but he can field his position. He's a cat on the mound, fields it well. And like you mentioned, he's always entertaining when he gets in the box, then he beats out an infield single. It's fun to watch. I'm surprised he didn't try to steal second base after that.
Oh, he was thinking about it. You know, you mentioned Justin Turner. And Turner, surprising to me, came into the game with good career numbers against Johnny, because Johnny, he'll shimmy and shake, he'll triple pause, he'll give him but then he'll quick pitch him, and he can't get his foot down. The plate appearance that Turner had in the 6th inning, 10 pitches, fouled off 6. That kind of wore him out a little bit. That was a battle.
Yeah, unfortunately had to get to that point because he got a ground ball to second baseman Solano in that inning that could have turned double play. The ball kind of took a bad hop on him. He gets the out at second base, the lead out. There's 2 outs, but then makes Johnny have to work a little bit. Now you got to face Muncy, gets a knock, and then Turner always puts a good at bat up there. 10 pitch at bat. Johnny's out of the game. Only 77 pitches, but had he got that double play in the 6th inning, we may have seen him throw 8 innings today. That's how efficient he was. That's how dominant he was. And it was a much-needed start out of Johnny Cueto because he's been a little bit up and down this year. They need, obviously, the series win, but they got to get him going in this rotation, be a little bit more consistent.
Well, the Dodgers have got to get their rotation going. David Price went today, but there's a lot of reports out there that Andrew Friedman is closing in on a deal to acquire another lefty that wears similar colors and a similar logo from the Kansas City Royals. They would get Danny Duffy. But what did you think of David Price today, Shawn?
Well, I thought their approach was really good against Price. They just had faced, they've seen him a couple times this year. They know what he's trying to do to get them out. They had a game plan against him, and they were going to serve him the other way. They didn't swing at pitches out of the strike zone. As you saw in the first inning, he walked 3 batters on 15 pitches. And Crawford did a nice job, too, trying to go the other way. He did a nice job of going the other way on that double to set the tone early in the game with 2 out RBIs. Those are big. Those are backbreakers because you think you're out of the inning and all of a sudden you give up that big hit and now you're down 2-0 in a big game. So I thought the approach was great against Price. Wasn't like he was off today, just missing out of the strike zone when he was walking batters, but they made him pay for every mistake that he made.
Our cheesesteak shop hero of the game. And I think I'm
good.
going to eat this like Alex Dickerson does in the commercials. You see him mouth through his cheesesteak shop? We're going with Brandon Crawford. You just figured, guy's been on the IL, missed the 4 in LA, missed the first 2 here against the Dodgers. First pitch he sees in the last 2 weeks against the Dodgers. That's a smart hitter right there. I'm going to take it away. He's walking the yard. He's going to give me a strike. I'm going to serve it the other way. They got the shift on. 2-0 Giants.
He's just a smart hitter. We talked about him in the lineup in the pregame show today of how much he means to this team when he's in the lineup defensively. And obviously the bat has been there all season long. He's been the clutchest hitter of the Giants this year as runners in scoring position.
Where is that beautiful sandwich? We got to eat. You ready to eat now?
Yeah, I'm ready.
I'm going in like Dickerson. Oh.
How is it? I'll let you be the guinea pig. Good?
I'm having
as
the
good
king
as it
of
looks?
Philly. Did
Wow.
they ever call Cap the
Look
king of
at
Philly?
this. No, I don't
When
think
he was
so.
in South Philly? I don't think they ever called him that. Right now he's the king of baseball.
Giants Post-Game Live is presented by Toyota. Wouldn't it be nice to drive the most trusted brand in California? Take a test drive at your local dealer today. This Sportsnet Central update is presented by Drayton Resort and Casino.
Well, we got an NBA draft coming up in a couple of hours. Check out what Daryl Morey, now the GM of the Philadelphia 76ers, offered the Warriors to trade him Ben Simmons, and coming back the other way, he wanted Andrew Wiggins, James Wiseman, the Warriors' 7th pick in the NBA draft later today, the Warriors' 14th pick in the NBA draft later today. He's not done, though. He wants 2 future ones. Right after that, Bob hung up and said anything that comes in from the 215, have it rerouted because we're not going to take that. Bob will probably address it afterwards. Right now, the Warriors are going to draft 7 and 14. The LA Lakers are going to get Russell Westbrook. What a trade that is going to be. They're giving up a lot, including Kyle Kuzma going the other way. So just insanity there. Are you all right? Ready to go?
Do you have any sweet
Need some
peppers in my
floss?
teeth? Yeah.
Aren't those peppers sweet, though?
Sweet
They are
and
good.
hot.
Which one did you get? I got the King of Philly.
I
Which
just
one?
got the classic Philly with the works.
What do you mean, just the classic Philly with the works?
Well, yours
That's
had,
fabulous.
Yours was 1,700 calories. Mine was 700.
No,
So.
don't listen to what he says there.
Double meat, double
Nutritious
cheese, people.
and delicious, both. Yeah, we got a big staff we have to feed here. So anyway, a lot going on, and we got a trade tracker. We'll show you what's going on in baseball because the Dodgers and the Padres have made a move, but the Giants are feeling lovely today, like their city after a 5-0 win over the Dodgers. They went 3-4 from LA last week, and LA come back, take 2 out of 3 against LA today, and it's a beautiful outing for Johnny Cueto. So good to get Brandon Crawford back and all the 2-out knocks today to score all 5 runs. Let's head back to Oracle Park, get the reaction on today's game from Dave Fleming and Mike Krukow.
All right, well, the Giants beat the Dodgers by the final score of 5-0 today. And, Mike, we'll talk about this game, but I also want to go back to the start of last week. These 7 head-to-head matchups, Giants-Dodgers, over this last week and a half. Giants lost Crawford to the injured list. We know they don't have Brandon Belt. They don't have Evan Longoria. They were kind of a beat-up team going into this stretch of games against their rivals, the other top team in the National League West. And yet the Giants take 5 out of 7, and I think that says a lot about this team.
Well, in remarkable fashion, too. I mean, 3 incredible. The whole series down in L.A. was amazing. They win that one. They come home here have a great first game. Last night, kind of a stinker, and it was made to look that way because of the brilliance of Walker Buehler. I mean, he was just spectacular last night. Giants could overcome that. They got down early, never recovered. Today, Johnny Cueto went out and took the ball in a game that was going to decide this series, and he was stellar, spot on the first inning. A great bottom of the first inning when the Giants loaded the bases, and Brandon Crawford was first at bat since coming off the injured list. Hits a double down the left field line, gives the Giants 2 runs quick. They added a third run in the second, and Johnny Cueto just kept carving up the Dodgers. Outstanding command for the fastball, and everything else fell into place off of that fastball. And then it got to the sixth inning, and the Dodgers loaded the bases. Johnny Cueto left the ball game, and it was Harleen Garcia who came in and really got the biggest out of the game.
He did. He's been such a big part of this Giants bullpen, a bullpen which came through in this game and this series in a major way. The Giants bullpen has just been great. We don't know if the Giants are going to add with the deadline looming less than 24 hours away. What we do know is the Giants can hang with anybody. And we've said it before, but this is no fluke. It's a team now 3 games up in the toughest division in baseball.
Well, and they definitely think that they can beat anybody, and they're going to get tested again this weekend when the Houston Astros come into town. But the significance of this game is it keeps momentum going. It keeps the positive vibe going, and it gets Johnny Cueto thinking that he's going to be a big factor as this team approaches the final 2 months of the regular season.
Yeah, totally agree. I think that's one of the best performances, not just this year, but any year. Cueto in a Giants uniform. That was big time.
He was that good.
Giants beat the Dodgers 5-0, 3 games up in the National League West.
All right, Flam and Mikey, thank you. All right, so I got a play of the game. Well, I'm eating a King of Philly. We're to watch a former King of Philly, Darren Roughshon against Phil Bickford. Shoots the gap. What do they call that big area out there in right center field?
Triples alley for everybody but Darren Ruff. Oh, wait.
Wait!
He's going to
Why
third.
would you say such a ridiculous thing? He's veritably the Willie Wilson of this generation. Not really.
How many triples is that for on his career?
This is number 2. But he went in standing, Shawn. He did not have to slide into third base because that rolled a long way right past Cody Bellinger.
No, he smoked that in the gap, and he was sniffing triple the whole way. Out of the box, he was going hard. Look at him pick up those legs.
All right, so we go flashback.
Going,
His
Ruffy.
second major league triple. This is back in 2012 as a member of the Philadelphia Phillies. He's the King of Philly. Nice play by Bryce Harper there. That'll bang the wall. After they saw that, they decided to sign him, huh?
Yeah.
Rolls away, and let's see, where is Ruff? Ruff went in standing on that one as well.
I figure the outfielder either had to take a piece out of the wall, fall down, something like that for it to happen.
You know how young he looks
Cleveland
there.
shaven Darren Ruff, yeah.
He was killing cheesesteaks in Philadelphia.
Oh,
I know.
absolutely.
Not like the
Geno's?
cheesesteak we have here in
Yeah.
the Bay Area. That's just like the cheesesteaks in Philadelphia. Gabe Kapler, I think he stays away. Although that's how he gets his great physique, the King of Philly.
You can eat what
Crushing
you
him.
want if you work out like he does.
He does. He works
Yeah.
out like a madman. So, and Johnny Cueto as well. Johnny really had an active game today. We're going to get reaction right now from Gabe Kapler. First question comes from our Alex Pavlovich.
Hey, Gabe, it looked like Johnny had a little bit more on his fastball early on. What do you think of his stuff and just the outing he had overall against a lineup that's giving some of your guys some trouble?
Yeah, no, I thought it was Johnny's best outing in a long time. I also thought his stuff was especially crisp. I certainly think his timing mechanisms, his timing, the ability to upset the rhythm and the timing of the opposing hitters was important, and he had really good body control today. Yeah, and to your point, Alex, like the fastball was as good as we've seen it in a long time. So I think those things were key to Johnny's success today.
Gary? Yeah, Gabe, what did you think of Crawford's at bat in the early going against Price? A guy who really wanted to play in these Dodgers series, was only able to get one game against them, but just what he came through in that situation for you guys.
Yeah, I thought it was huge, and I don't think he was necessarily trying to poke the ball down the left field line like he did, but he was up there battling. I think he recognized how critical the at-bat was. And what I'll say is I think we've had several of those moments come up over the course of the last 10 days, and we haven't been able to capitalize on many of them. And I think it's just important to have Craw's presence in the lineup today. We saw it later in the game as well, how important it was, and it's really nice to have him back in the mix.
And then after after the 10-pitch walk to Turner, when you went out to the mound to talk to Johnny, was there a thought about leaving him in that situation? Because it was a long conversation out there.
There was a thought about leaving him in because I thought his stuff still looked good, but I do think there's a lot of energy used in that battle with Turner, and I just thought it was the right time. I think Johnny would have stayed in there, and I think he wanted to stay in there, and in many ways I thought he earned the right to stay in there. I just felt like it was the right time to go to Garcia. It had been so good, and not put Johnny in a position where another long at bat could have had him running out of gas. I really do feel like there was some degree of emptying the tank in that at bat against Turner, and it was a good battle. I just think Turner ended up on first base, felt like it was the right time, and I wanted to make sure that I had that conversation with Johnny.
Thank you.
John Shea.
So it seems you knew going out that Johnny would come out because the conversation was long, and at least once this year you had that long conversation with Johnny and left him in.
There will be times when I go out there and I have the conversation with the intention of allowing Johnny to take the ball for one or two more batters, and he has demonstrated that he does a really good job in those moments of telling me that he needs the next guy. He does a really good job in those moments of demonstrating how bad he wants it. He did today as well. But we'll just keep having those conversations. We'll make the best decision for the Giants each time.
What did you think of the crowd tonight or today? Seemed especially passionate even before the game.
Yeah, no, it was a lively group. I think everybody was excited to see a day game with two quality teams, and obviously everybody knows there's a lot on the line. And in every time we play a baseball game, and in particular, I think. Our fans tend to get up for the games against the Dodgers, and we appreciated the support.
And what will Posey's status be tomorrow and through the weekend?
Feel optimistic. I talked to Posey on the bench. We discussed the possibility of him starting tomorrow's game, and we're going to try to get him ready to do so. Want to give him a little time to, just kind of feel the rest of the day, and we'll touch base in the morning. We'll have two lineups, one with Posey in there and one with Casali in there, but I do feel optimistic right now.
Yeah, lively crowd today, 35,136, and including Shawn Estes, who snuck in. And not all of them are wearing blue. A lot of them are chanting "Beat LA," and the Giants do it again. 3 out of 4 last week at Dodger Stadium, 2 out of 3 here. So they've opened up a 3-game lead overall, 4 in the all-important loss column. San Diego appears on the verge of getting Max Scherzer. They're going to play tonight against Colorado. And it looks like the Dodgers are going to get Danny Duffy. So we'll see what the Giants do before the deadline. But right now they feel like maybe they don't need to do a whole lot. But the schedule is tough. After the Dodgers leave, you bring in Dusty Baker and the Houston Astros. Dusty actually is in town. He is out fishing right now. And he landed a couple of relievers before they get into town. So he was fishing for them. And then it's on to Arizona. We'll see Madison Bumgarner next week. We have not seen the Astros all year. They're an American League team. Next week, we'll see Milwaukee for the first time. They're playing great. Arizona, Colorado again. We've not seen the New York Mets at all this year, Shawn. And we're going to see the Atlanta Braves later. We haven't seen them at all. All rolls to Oakland. So you never have a day off. Literally, there's no off day here. You go right from the quest for the West and all these high-intensity games against the Dodgers. The Houston Astros are as good of a baseball team, certainly.
Well, I think it helps. I mean, to face a team like the Astros coming off of a Dodgers series, unlike facing a team like the Pirates, where there may be a little bit of a letdown after an emotional series, because as a unit, that the Astros are good, and they're going to come into town, and they're going to want to beat you, and they're going to want to take to it. They're going to try to win the series, and they got the team to do it. They got the pitching lined up to do it. So you have to have your A game. You have to go out there and play clean baseball. You have to take that series much like you did against this Dodger team, because they're that good, top to bottom, lineup-wise, pitching-wise, and their bullpen, which they struggled in the bullpen this year, but they got a lot better, like you mentioned. Dusty Baker out there fishing. He got a Yimi Garcia in the.
He caught a Yimi?
He caught a Yimi and he caught a Graveman.
Oh boy!
Which are two pretty nice arms to have him back into that bullpen. So now they're solid bullpen, solid starting pitching, and a great.
And the
lineup.
best offense maybe in all of baseball.
Maybe all of baseball, and they can catch it. So
and they got that little second baseman leading off, Jose Altuve. He's a heck of a player. Let's go on deck. Kevin Gausman is going to have to get right here. He has not pitched well here over his last 4 starts. Dusty will start the left-hander, Framber Valdez, tomorrow, 6-2 with a 2.97 against Gausman. And then he gets Zach Greinke. He will go on Saturday. Luis Garcia's had a solid year, a 7-game winner. Alex Wood and Logan Webb will pitch for the Giants. But a word about Gausman. He's not pitched well. Coming out of the All-Star break, he had a couple against L.A. that were not good. Really, his last 5 have not been good. So the numbers overall are good on the year, but his first 15 starts much better than his last 5. And the big problem has been command, Shawn.
He's dominant in his first 15 starts, and obviously a little bit of concern coming out of the All-Star break and dealing with what he's had to deal with back home and not pitching well against the Pirates in his last. Kind of felt like he'd get back on track, but he did say after his last start that it definitely was something mechanical. That's something you can fix. It wasn't upstairs. It wasn't something physical. It's mechanical, and that they're going to go back to the drawing board. They're going to figure out where he needs to be mechanics-wise. He's going to throw a bullpen in between. Already did that. And hopefully he'll get the rhythm back that was so effective in the first half of this season with the fastball split combination. It looks like the fastball out of his hand, saying he was rushing toward home plate. His arm was lagging a little bit, and that tend to get under the baseball. You cut it off. You don't throw. You're not consistent in the strike zone with that, and then your split doesn't look the same coming out of your hand. So when he's on time, he's behind the baseball, he's finishing out front, that's when he's at his best. I expect him to get back on track tomorrow.
Yeah, and it's a day game, so he's got time to go out and get a good meal. And he did pitch for many years in Baltimore, so right there in that same area, they call it the Beltway, Baltimore, Philadelphia. He knows about a good cheesesteak. Oh, how yummy is that, Shawn?
Let's go
dive in. It's calling my name. The sweet peppers, they're just wafting. All right, trade tracker, a lot going on. Max Scherzer may be eating fish tacos very shortly. We shall see. Is he going to San Diego? Is A.J. Preller going to trade for everybody and still finish third?
Giants Post-Game Live is presented by Toyota. Wouldn't it be nice to drive the most trusted brand in California? Take a test drive at your local dealer today. It's time to find your edge. Brought to you by Grayton Resort and Casino.
It is time for the edge, and the over-under today was 8.5, so it's under. And it's all because of the Giants pitching. They scored 5 runs. L.A. nothing today. They shut down the greatest offense, one of the best offenses in baseball. And when are they going to learn? Every single time the Giants play the Dodgers are the favorite of the -123. Giants were the underdogs. Not as bad today, a +106. But it's the call today was the Giants in the under. It's interesting. Everybody thinks eventually the L.A. Dodgers will out-talent everybody, and maybe they're going to get Mookie Betts back soon. They're going to get Corey Seager back soon. They're going to get Clayton Kershaw back. I think he's going to pitch August the 7th against the Angels, Shawn, but they got to execute a little better. It's not always just who's the most talented baseball team.
And they're going to get Danny Duffy, another arm, who's pretty good.
They are going to get him? You must know something. It's our trade tracker. Yeah, a lot of rumors going on. First, we'll start with Max Scherzer, who pitched today and pitched beautifully in Philadelphia. The word is that A.J. Preller is going to land another big fish taco. He loves the deadline. He loves the offseason. Apparently, they've agreed to the trade. It's just Scherzer's got to approve it as far as who exactly San Diego's getting back to Washington and their GM, Mike Rizzo. So we talked about Scherzer to the Giants. What does it mean that he goes possibly to a division rival, Shawn, and he goes to San Diego?
Well, I guess it's at least not the Dodgers. I guess that's the only saving grace in all this. You don't want to see him, go to the Dodgers because that can make them a lot better. All these teams are probably going to make the playoffs, and that's one of the guys you want to pitch in the playoffs. If the Giants win this division, they'll be the 2 wild card teams. They're going to have to face each other. Who do you want on the mound? Scherzer, Buehler? I can kind of see that matchup right now. That'd be fun to watch. So it's going to make the Padres that much better, solidify that rotation with Blake Snell struggling right now. A couple guys injured. It's a big pickup. I think whoever got Max Scherzer, it was going to be a difference maker in that rotation and on that team. So unfortunately, it happens to come in division, but it's not the Dodgers.
And we're also hearing that Danny Duffy is going to go to the LA Dodgers. So we're not going to see the Dodgers again until Labor Day weekend, September 3, 4, and 5. Giants will play 10 of their final 19 against the San Diego Padres, including their last 3 of the year at Oracle Park, October 1, 2, and 3. It is on. Let's bring in our guy, our insider, Alex Pavlovich, my team's inside pitch via WebEx by Cisco. So give me your reaction to Scherzer going to San Diego, Duffy going to the Dodgers, and what are you hearing? Farhan, it's less than 21 hours to the trade deadline. What are you hearing? Are the Giants going to do anything, or are they going to hold tight here?
Well, I think, first of all, we should acknowledge that Ken Rosenthal has walked back those Scherzer rumors a little bit and says that other teams, he was the one who was on it, and everybody else came out right away and said that's not quite done. And he just tweeted that the Dodgers are one of the teams still trying to get Scherzer. So that one seems like your classic deadline. Everybody's trying to get this guy. The Giants like him as well. The Giants have had conversations there. So it's not quite done with the Padres, but certainly that would be a big deal in the division. That is a team that's 6 back at the moment, so maybe more of a postseason move for them. But you see those two teams, they need pitching more than the Giants do, and they have been in on the same guys, and the Giants were connected to some of these guys as well. But those two teams have a little bit more desperation right now when it comes to starting pitching than the Giants do.
All right, so Washington has been a trade partner that everybody's trying to line up with Mike Rizzo. The Chicago Cubs and Jed Hoyer are the other, and Scott Harris, the Giant GM, knows him well, working there for so many years. Apparently, Anthony Rizzo is going to the New York Yankees, which would be a wow acquisition for Brian Cashman of the Yankees, on top of getting Joey Gallo yesterday. But the other two guys out there, and maybe they're better fits ultimately, Pavs, than getting a starting pitcher, would be Chris Bryant, a right-handed hitter who can play everywhere, in particular left field, and a closer in Craig Kimbrell. So what are your thoughts on the Giants still making a trade with the Chicago Cubs?
I think with them, they're kind of set up pretty well over the next, what do we got now, 21 hours here? Because you are seeing some of these teams that are right up against that luxury tax line make their moves. And Rizzo was the one for the Yankees. The Mets haven't been heard from yet. The Dodgers really haven't made their big move yet. But you're seeing these other teams make their moves, and certainly the Cubs are in full teardown mode if Rizzo is gone already. Bryant, Baez, Kimbrell are going to be on the way out as well. So I think the Giants are sitting in a pretty good spot here before tomorrow's deadline to continue to make calls there, continue to talk to the Cubs. They have done it this week and try to figure out if there's a match there. And as other teams, use their bigger pieces on some of these other guys like Rizzo, like a Scherzer, the Giants potentially have an opportunity to slide in there and add somebody who's a much better fit for their roster. And for me right now, if Scherzer was gone, the two best guys left to fit this roster are Bryant and Craig Kimbrell.
So, Shawn, you've been kind of lukewarm on adding a starting pitcher, but I think you're all in on a right-handed hitter and somebody like Bryant that can play everywhere, in particular the outfield if your infield's completely healthy. And you have wanted a closer all along. Maybe not somebody as highly paid and well thought of as Kimbrell. You have to work, but he's going to be under contract again next year. So if you lose Scherzer, I think the acquisition that was really more on their sights was to go get Bryant and maybe add Kimbrell. So how would you feel if the Giants, if Scherzer goes to the Dodgers, or Scherzer goes to the Padres, Duffy goes to the Dodgers, and the Giants get Chris Bryant and Kimbrell, or just one of them, or just Bryant?
Feel really good about that. I'm convinced that this rotation is a solid rotation for the Giants. I think they can compete with anybody. I think they can match up with anybody on any given day. I don't know where you'd put a starting pitcher and who would be bumped right now. That would be the tough move. It's a good problem to have, but Logan Webb's been throwing so well right now. You want to keep him in the rotation and keep that confidence going. Where there is a need there's a need like for a right-handed batter like a Chris Bryant, and there's also a need, I believe, for the back end of that bullpen. It doesn't have to be Kimbrell, but Daniel Hudson's still out there with the Nationals. To me, Daniel Hudson, you could pick him up, probably not have to give up a ton for him, and he could slide right into that ninth inning for you, or pitch the eighth. However Cap wants to do it, I believe he could pitch the ninth inning and close games out. Kimbrell's probably going to you're probably going to have to give up way too much for Bryant and Kimbrell, more than you want to. But that's what I'm saying. You go all in on Bryant, and then you can go to Hudson and not have to give up as much, and still pretty much you can have an effective closer.
Would it take a Joey Bart to get Bryant and Kimbrell together, and maybe even more? And Kimbrell is under contract for one more year, so he's not a rental. You got him next year for $16 million. Bryant may be a bit of a problem because Scott Boras represents him, and he likes to go to the market and free agency. So would Bryant be a straight rental, or could they make a deal to get him signed if they made the trade, Paz?
Yeah, I think it would be. You'd have to view it as a straight rental. I think most of these guys, especially Boris clients, are going to go into free agency, and nobody really knows what's going to happen with the CBA. So they're going to go in and try to cash out. Remember, this is Chris Bryant. He's a former National League MVP. This is his first crack at free agency. I don't think there's any circumstance under which he signs before he gets there, especially given his versatility and what he does. But the Kimbrel thing, it's actually not a problem for these guys at all. I mean, they have $100 million coming off the books. They could very easily absorb salary going forward. But again, as Shawn mentioned, the price there to go out and get two guys like that, as we've talked about already this week, they're not going to have Joey Bart in talks with the Cubs. And that, if you're getting that high, like, that's their number two guy right now, and they don't want to involve him there. So it's difficult to figure out how they could go and get both of them. But I do think those are two guys that could help them. And then again, there are other relievers out there beyond the ones that we've talked about who could potentially help this bullpen, even though it looked great today and generally has looked good for the last 2 months. I think they're just in a really good spot where they can go out and try to get some of these guys and try to make a big move. But they should feel pretty good about where they are right now and the way the roster looks, the way the rotation looks, and the way the bullpen has looked.
All right, guy. Take another sip of coffee and another cup of coffee or so, Paz. You're going to be working hard over the next 21 hours plus, and then whatever they do, maybe right up against the deadline. And tomorrow on Giants Pregame Live, we're going to have the man, Farhan Zaidi, will join us. The Giants president of the baseball operations. We'll get into exactly what he's been doing. He's working hard right now, and we'll figure out the moves that he has made or the moves that he did not make. But right now, the moves that he's making, he's probably eating a lot of cheesesteak. To visit Darryl, just down the street, Shawn. First one around the Bay Area. They got many locations, opened in 1982. They made a lot of roster moves today. John Brebbia goes back down. Aaron Sanchez off the IL, and Mike Tauchman has been designated for assignment. We'll discuss on Toyota Giants Postgame Live.
This Sportsnet Central update is presented by Drayton Resort and Casino.
No, you're liking these hot peppers, Shawn, from the cheesesteak shop. You like Camilo Duvall, hot, blowing 104 miles per hour. Wow, but I know you were more impressed with his devastating slider that he broke off as well.
It looked a little different than the slider that we saw when he was up with the Giants early this year. It was a little bigger with the Giants. Obviously, it was a good one, but it looked like it had a little bit more sharpness, a little bit more depth. It was a little bit harder. Not a bad pitch. I think 104 would play with a lot of different teams.
Think they're looking at that in Chicago today when you go viral there? Would they?
You don't even have to have anybody there. You can just look at a video.
Is that somebody you'd put in a trade? You know, we're talking about, no, you can't have Luciano, you can't have Ramos, you can't have Bart. Would you include Camilo Duvall in a trade that would involve Chris Bryant or Craig Kimbrel?
Yeah.
Is that no?
I don't know.
104 and a half?
I would. I mean, we've seen him this year, and he did struggle, but he did show some promise. It's hard to trade arms like that. But if that's the guy that they really want and that's going to make the difference in the deal, then I think yes. I think you do. Not to say that arms like that come around all the time. They don't, but more often than we've ever seen in the past. We see guys running it up to 100 miles an hour. What's the difference between 100 and 104? I don't know. I've never stepped in
3
the
miles
box
per hour,
to see
Shawn.
that. But nowadays, hitters are adjusting to the velocity. But it's tough to give up on an arm like that. But I think, you got to know the whole makeup of the kid. You know what I mean? You got to know. And Cap, when he was up there, said that he loved his makeup. He loved how he had a short memory. He had great poise on the mound. It's just he wasn't ready to pitch in the big leagues. Hadn't pitched above A ball before he got to the big leagues. So he just wasn't ready. But if you can make a difference on this team right now, you can bring someone in right now, another closer, Chris Bryant, then I think you got to entertain giving up Camilo Duvall.
All right, and Camilo Duvall is going to have a new teammate, unfortunately for him, but John Brebbia has been sent back down to AAA. When you have options this time of the year, you're going to go up and down. He did not have a great outing last night, and he wasn't available today, so you make that transition. The big news, Brandon Crawford reinstated off the 10-day IL where he was since last Monday with the oblique. Aaron Sanchez is back. Mike Tauchman designated for assignment. So I want to see if Aaron Sanchez can pitch out of the bullpen. That's intriguing to me. But for Mike Tauchman, what a curious tenure as a Giant. The Tauchman takeaway on May the 28th, probably the single biggest moment of the year. Tyler Rogers, thank you, after he gave it up to Austin Barnes to tie the game at 5. It looked like Pujols had walked the Giants off. He pulled us back, and then just 2 weeks later on a Friday night, he does it again. And this one was harder against Juan Soto climbing over the wall. Anthony DeSclafani loves it. Giants win 1-0. He did hit a grand slam earlier that week in Arlington, Shawn, but he ultimately did not hit well enough. We went back and compared them both. They're both great plays, but I hope he does come back here. Gabe Kapler sat him down today and said, you're a major leaguer. You got a lot of ways you can help because he's a great overall athlete. He just got into a funk offensively, and I thought it was curious they asked him to change his swing in the middle of the year. I wonder if he does go to another team or if they trade him here in the next 10 days, if he will go back to his old swing, because that's got to be hard to do in the middle of a year, isn't it?
Absolutely. But, I mean, you're trying to play. You want to play, so you're going to listen to whatever you can, from the management that – has an opportunity to get back on the field. If you have guys working with you behind the scenes and you're making adjustments, they're going to want you to go out there and they're going to want to see if those adjustments are paying off. He provided 3 of the best highlights of this season up to this point. So you have to thank you for that, Mike Tauchman. But really what it comes down to is you got to produce. And right now, it's a roster crunch right now. And he was the odd man out, wasn't the guy doing the job. But like he said before, you're only as good as your last at bat, and if I remember right, he got a hit. He got a hit the other way.
The other way.
So he thinks he's pretty good right now.
He's won for his last one. And I thought it was nice when he came in to pitch in the blowout loss the other night that he threw the ball well as well against Pittsburgh, which was fun. He did throw the ball well.
They're probably not going to have a bobblehead of Mike Tauchman like they did Pablo, but yeah, he did well enough.
All right, let's see if we can
he
duplicate.
Worked fast. We'll give
have
him
you
that.
seen the commercials where Alex Dickerson is just mowing cheesesteaks? I mean, he's going in, so we got to go.
Yeah.
We've been waiting long enough here.
All right, I'm hungry. I've only eaten half. I saved myself for this.
You've been eating the whole. No, what are you talking about?
Pretty good.
Well, that's a big bite you got there. That's just.
Can I try some of yours?
Yeah.
You got
want my king?
Huh?
You want to go from this end? You don't trust me?
Only if you feed me.
Feed me, Seymour? My mother told me not to talk.
Hey, the peppers. You got to get the peppers. Extra peppers on these. So good.
We are going to Mancini's highlight zone. Aurelia keeps texting me. Are those really cheesesteaks in those bags?
They actually are.
There's one in every bag,
There
Richie.
is one. We'll save one for you the next time you're in a month.
We want
Should be
4.
good by then.
You know how well this goes with a bottle of Pinot Red Stitch? Mamma mia! Well, after all the cheesesteaks I'm eating today, I'm going to need Sunday off. Beautiful. Summer Sunday comes in on this Sunday, and that'll be the final game of the 3-game series against Dusty Baker's Houston Astros. Dusty's in town. He's fishing right now. 12:30 Summer Sunday from the ballpark, and they're hanging out in the 415, which is a great place right after. On the 4th of July, they had a Wendy's nugget eating contest, which Cole Kuiper won. I think we got to go cheesesteak shop contest. I think we'll do that. By the way, Glenn Kuiper texted me, save me a cheesesteak. Everybody wants one. Rich Aurelia wants one. Grant
How much is he going to pay us for it?
Said $50. I'm going to hold out for 100.
Wow.
Although I didn't pay anything for him, so we'll share them. Johnny Cueto, Shawn, chop it and run. Johnny's got wheels.
Flying, dreads flying. Off the plate, good placement, and just get after it, Johnny.
Woo! Johnny got a stolen base, his first major league stolen base in his
Maybe
last
that's why
start.
Cap took him out.
All right, how about this one? 3-month-old William Alexander Springhorn III coming to the baseball game today. First game. William Alexander Springhorn III is 3 months old.
He's got the earmuffs on. It must have been
He's
loud out there today.
He's listening to John Miller say.
Is he listening to John?
Adios, pelota!
Dia de Cueto.
We're going in the crowd back. Muncie will foul it off. Look at the skills. Is that a bare hand? We're going commando second deck to grab this one. What do you think, Shawnee?
The catch is great. The pose is great. But going in the pocket with the ball, not great. There's tons of kids. No, there's probably 6 or 7 kids around him that would have taken that ball.
Yeah, maybe we'll do it after.
What was that?
So you were at the yard today.
I went there for first 4 or 5 innings.
About you. Nothing like a day game at Oracle Park. One of the great scenes of all of American sport. Nice crowd today. How was it being at the ballpark today?
Great weather, great crowd. They were into it. Giants got on the board early, so there was buzz in the stadium. it brought me back. It's my first time to the Yard this year where there was actually fans in there. I've done a couple broadcasts where the team's on the road, so you're just by yourself up in the booth. But the first time I've actually seen the fans is one of the best crowds of the year. Going out there against the Dodgers doesn't get much better than that. So. It's what I remember, a couple years ago. We're finally getting close to being back to how it used to be. The Giants are good again, which is the most important part.
35,136. The first game back when they allowed fans in, and a couple against the A's were bigger. But besides that, the biggest crowd. And to finish off a series where the Giants win 2 out of 3 from the LA Dodgers after beating them 3 out of 4. And now, moving up ahead of them in the National League West here by 3 full games is big, and obviously 4 in the loss column. So what do you expect? What are you hoping for between now and 1 o'clock our time? I'm going to eat cheesesteak while you answer. Take about a minute.
Oh, you want me to talk? I want a closer. Go get a closer.
Said that all along.
I'm going to stick. I said it 2 months ago. I said it now. And I don't want anybody to get offended in that Giant clubhouse for fans of Tyler Rogers or Jake
He's throwing
McGee.
Bud Lights at you right now.
No, because those guys have done a tremendous job. Those guys are great back into the bullpen guys. But like I've said all along, I need somebody in the 9th inning that has the ability to punch somebody out, that can punch tickets, that have more than just the fastball, that throw hard with swing and miss stuff. I want a strikeout and a half an inning. I want Daniel Hudson stuff. I want Michael Givens stuff, although Michael Givens is gone. I want Craig Kimbrell stuff. I want a closer on this team. That's the type of pitcher that will make a difference come September, and even more important, into the playoffs when they get there. And good to have him back, Brandon Crawford. He was a difference maker in today's game. Keep eating, Pop. We'll see you tomorrow. Giants pregame live at, I believe, 6 o'clock. Take a breath, Pop.